What's up, my Fina loves? It's Miss Fina D coming to you all from Fina Entertainment News. So I did a video about rumors that Cynthia Bailey's daughter, dropped out of college and that she's living with Mike Hill. I looked everywhere for the Mike Hill interview and couldn't find it, and all I kept seeing were articles of what he said without a link for me to see for myself what he said. And because I didn't have a link in that video, I was like, allegedly, this might be a lie. I find this hard to believe. However, shout out to Max. Shout out to you. Thank you so much. Okay. Providing me the link to the interview for me to hear what Mike Hill had to say out of his own mouth. Okay. So I have included the link to that interview in the description below for you guys to go ahead and watch it. You can watch the entire interview because he talked a lot, like very open, like he just spilled everything. Okay, but the moment he talked about Noel was around like the 22 minutes and 18 seconds mark, so you can start watching from there. When they brought up her daughter Noel, he was the one who said, Noel is actually living with him right now. It had Noel is an influencer and he left her at home, getting her photography together and her YouTube channel and all of that. So Mike Hill himself said it. If you're going to school in a different state and now you live in LA, then that means you no longer go to that school. It doesn't necessarily mean that you dropped out of college, okay? So it's possible that she's an influencer now. She might enroll into college out there. You never know. So the words drop out of college did not leave his mouth, but right now she's not in school. And it's always possible that she could join his other daughter at UCLA, or she can go to school online. Whatever the case might be, it's still possible that Noel would be going back to college, okay? So that's that. He talked about his amazing relationship with her dad and how he knew her dad before he even knew Cynthia Bailey. And, he tried to pitch a show to him. And basically he said they're like brothers, okay? So that's that. And then the part that I didn't like in the interview was when the interviewer said Mike and Cynthia Bailey relationship is not like Kenya relationships where she be hiring boyfriends, okay? And the interviewer busted laughing. And Mike also laughed with them. And while he laughed with them, he tried to correct the interviewer like, okay, now I don't know about that now. And, oh, you caught me off guard, but he's laughing. And my thing is, if those are my friends and you are the interviewer and you are disrespecting, I'm not laughing. I'm going to sit there straight face like, hey, man, I'm going to continue the interview, but, like that's family right there. We're not going to disrespect her and say she have to pay for boyfriends. You know what I'm saying? Like, what does a beautiful woman like Kenya Moore have to pay for a man? Like, you put people in check. You know what I'm saying? You don't sit there and laugh with them. So I didn't like that part of the interview. And you know what? It comes, maybe he was nervous. It caught him off guard, so he didn't know how to react. So maybe he laughed, the nervous laughed, whatever the case might be. I just know if I'm somewhere and someone crossed the line with a friend, I would politely be like, you know what, we're not going to do that, okay? Yes, it might have made an interview awkward, but you put people in check. You don't laugh with people while they disrespect your friends. You don't do that. So I didn't like that part about it, okay? Back to Noel, he says she's also pursuing acting as well. Acting, modeling, photography, doing YouTube, and she's an influencer. So, but he talked about Kenya and Mark divorce. He was just all over the place. So I wrote down some notes. So I'm going to go through my notes and just talk about, what he talked about. And then I'm going to add my 2 cents after that. Okay, so he was talking about how, Cynthia is high class and, he need all the jobs that he can get if he's going to be marrying Cynthia Bailey. And, he's hoping that because he got this show on Netflix and, he's doing his other shows, okay? He was advertising his show It's like I hope it gets picked up for season 2. If not, I'm hoping that Bravo pay for this wedding, okay? He ain't shying away from the camera, not one bit. And I get it. This is his life. He's always in front of a camera. So I completely understand why this is not it's a total opposite from Kenya and Marc's situation, okay? And then after he talked about he's all in as it relates to filming and all of that, but he understands why, Marc Daly is the way he is, because sometimes it gets frustrating, and he and Cynthia had a all out terrible argument, and it was captured on film, and we'll get to see that. And basically everything that the interviewer complained about Marc Daly and how he didn't want to film and the secret wedding and all that stuff, Mike Hill basically said the complete opposite. As a man, it's your job to support your woman, okay? When you need to be in the background, be in the background. But when it's time for your woman to go out there and get a check, you don't stop her from getting paid and getting that check. You support her. You have people in the comments talking about how Mike Hill is a Peter Thomas 2.0 and all of that. Now, you could clearly tell the interviewer don't like Kenya Moore, because not only did he insult her by saying that she have to pay boyfriends and then busted out laughing, he kept bringing her up. Now I understand Mike Hill is engaged to Cynthia Bailey, and Cynthia Bailey is very close friends with Kenya Moore. I get it. Yes, the interviewers talked about other subjects that wasn't about Kenya Moore, but every chance he could force Kenya Moore in there, he did. Now, what Mike Hill said might be taken as shade, but I think he was only speaking for himself. I don't think he was coming for Marc Daly in a negative way. He was just saying, listen, I'm not about to stop my woman bag because I don't want to be on a show. If she wants me to support her, and supporting her means, I come on the show and help her, then as her man, that's what I'm going to do. So he was just speaking for himself. And he was just like, it gets frustrating. I get it that people are in your business and stuff like that. But if you really love this woman and this is your forever, then you will show up and support. Basically, what is the big deal? Why are you going to put your partner through all of the ups and downs and hoopla when you can simply just support them? I completely see how that could be taken as shade in a forest being thrown at Marc Daly. Maybe Marc Daly thought that he could marry Kenya and then convince her to quit her job. As Mike Hill is like, Kenny and Todd, we gonna get all this money, okay? The Real Housewives of Atlanta check, the restaurants checks, the going on tour checks. We gonna get everything. Give us everything. You know what I'm saying? Whereas Marc Daly is the complete opposite. I've been doing just fine without cameras being in my face all of these years, and I'll be, just fine. So he's all for the camera. He's all for filming. He talked about how, Cynthia is the star and he's there to support her. And if being on the show is what she needs, then that's what he's going to do. When he needs to fall back and be in the background, he will. However, when his girl need him to be on camera, he will be just there supporting her, like a reality TV, housewife dream. That's the type of man that you want. Someone who is also hungry for the camera like you, okay? So Cynthia got her dream guy in that department, because Mike Hill have no problems with the camera, with filming. He's all in, okay? Then talking about living in two separate places, he basically said exactly what I said about Kenya Moore and her husband. I said, listen, they have two homes. Why should they settle for just one home? There are celebrities who travel to different places and they have houses everywhere. So why should she have to sell her house and move to New York. It's okay to have a beautiful mansion in Atlanta, and it's okay to also go to Brooklyn and have a beautiful place to stay. And that's what he said. He said basically they have a home in LA. They have a home in Atlanta. And you know what? They're trying to get a home in New York. They're trying to get a home everywhere and build an empire together. And that's why he wants to marry Cynthia, because he's looking for a partnership, someone he can build with and he can build an empire with. Okay. He also talked about his failed marriage. So he wasn't very critical when the interviewer kept bringing up Kenya and Marc. One, of course, because Kenya and Marc are Cynthia Bailey friend, okay? He's heading into his second marriage. Cynthia is heading into her second marriage as well. So who are they to judge or talk about people's marriages failing when the both of them are right now at, going through the second chance at love? It didn't work out the first time. So of course he was like, you know what? I've been divorced before. I made mistakes. I cheated on, he was like, I cheated on my ex-wife, and he was just very open. And then in the midst of him explaining why he did what he did to his ex-wife, he then went back to his childhood, about his stepfather, physically abusing his mother, and, his real father allegedly being a hitman, and just saying some dark things that happened in his childhood. And that's the reason why when he got married, he did not know how to treat his wife. And now that he's grown and he's been through, life experiences, he's a changed man, and it's going to be different this time with Cynthia Bailey, okay? So Mike Hill had a lot more to say, but that's why I included the link in the description below. You guys can click that link and watch the interview for yourself. And anything else I didn't cover, I'm sure you're going to hear in the interview. Also, in the description below, I've included the link to the backup channel. Please subscribe to that backup channel. Get me to 1,000 subscribers. Of course, I'll do one more. But get me to 1,000 subscribers, and I will start being consistent on there after I hit 1,000 subscribers. I did not abandon the channel. But thank you all for subscribing so far. But also, too, for the people who might think that I'm making excuses for Mike Hill and that he was being shady towards Marc Daly, or the fact that he even, spoke on Kenya and Marc, and, he just said that he didn't say anything bad. He basically said, he was very sad to, see them going through what they're going through. He was very shocked because, he saw them at the event, and he spoke highly of Marc Daly. He said how, he and Kenya put this amazing event together, the event I talked about, a charity event together. But then when he talked about that event, he kind of cleared his throat and his eyes switched a little bit, alluding to the fact that something indeed did happen at that event. But he had nothing but beautiful things to say about them, and that he's just really sad, because he himself have gone through divorce, and he knows that, it's not easy, but he wished them the best and all of that. I just don't see the motive to why he would intentionally try to shade them, especially with his wife-to-be being very close to Kenya. I just think the interviewer asked questions, and he was just trying to explain his perspective on that. Like, okay, Marc Daly, is cool. Do what you do. I completely respect you not wanting to be on camera. But over here, that's been my life for a long time. That's what I've been doing. And so I see things differently. Now, other people are saying they can't understand how she made a big deal and listened to people who kept saying Will was all about, TV, and he wanted to be in front of the camera and all of these things. But yes, Mike Hill, he's all for the camera. He's doing interviews. He's talking a lot. all of this stuff. He wants their wedding to be paid for by Bravo, and he's just open. Cynthia's looking at it from the standpoint this is her fiance job professionally, like he's a sportscaster, and so it's not like he's been chasing reality TV checks. And I mean, this is no disrespect to Cynthia, but Cynthia just needed someone to hold her over for a few episodes in that season. That's it. But you know, Cynthia and the other girls, they would never get called out. People would never say, oh, their relationship is fake. Like, people would never go down that road with them. You know, they'll always come after one person. But we could all see it, that Will wasn't going to last. He was just there to help Cynthia. And he did his job. And now Mike Hill is here. So the best for last. And he talked about adorable Brooklyn. And even in this moment, people might also say, oh, he didn't have to say it that way. Even though Mike Hill, he means well. He just talked too much sometimes. He said, you know, Pilar, you know, she just be doing what she does. But Brooklyn, and he was just like, that's the happiest baby I have ever seen. And he just went on and on about Brooklyn. And just, of course, talk about her parents some more. And just said that at the end of the day, whatever Kenya and Mark, you know, decide that they did, you know, create a beautiful daughter out of it. The part about Pilar, no harm. He was just simply saying, we all know how our girl Pilar, she's adorable and she just be chilling. You know, she have that unbothered face, like what? And there's nothing wrong with that. And that's that. So I don't think people should be nitpicking at that as well. But that was about it. So I know it was about Noelle, but the interviewer kept bringing up a woman that I support. And this is the reason why this video is long, because you talk about Brooklyn, you talk about Kenya, you talk about Mark. I'm going to have my 2 cents. Anyways, I'm wishing everybody nothing but the best. My final loves, thank you all for your love and support. If you're not subscribed to the channel, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Go ahead and leave this video a thumbs up. Also turn on notifications so when I do post, you're aware that I posted. And I will see you all in the comment section. Remember to always have the God bless attitude, which is being positive at all times and seeing the good in every situation. Have a great day, guys. God bless.